Hey y'all, these are my doggies, and they are very hungry. This is Trouble. Trouble was from the shelter. He's about 2.5, 3 years old. This is Zeba. She's around 11. And they do not eat dog food. No kibble at all. We make their dog food, and they love it. And of course, they get an egg too. So, everybody always asks me how I make the dog food. So, I'm going to attempt to make a video on how I do it. Isn't that right, y'all? Is it dinner time? Y'all are waiting very patiently. Yes. So, when we changed the food, Zeba here, she was about 10 to 15 pounds heavier than she is now. She was overweight, she was lethargic, she had like this weird growth thing on her shoulder, and she just like wasn't as good of a dog as she could be. And so right after we got Trouble, we were like, you know what? We eat really healthy. We don't eat junk food, we don't eat processed food. Why the hell are we feeding that stuff to our dogs? And so we looked into it, started making food, and lo and behold, Zeba lost weight. She's much more energetic. Not so much today, it's a little hot. She's tired, but you know, she's an old lady. And that like growth thing on her shoulder just totally went away, which is really, really cool. But yeah, so hopefully I can explain how we make the dog food. And it's time for these guys to eat. Sweet. Okay, what goes in it? So, we do 4 bags of these sweet potatoes. I think they're 3 pounds each. We get them at Aldi, super cheap. 2 bags of carrots. What size is this? This is the 32 ounce, 2 pound bag. So 4 pounds carrots. I'm using zucchini this time because they were on sale. Sometimes I do like a head of cabbage, some kind of, or sometimes even like some yellow squash, just some extra little veggies in there. And then we got the most important ingredient, chicken. This is a 10-pound bag, and there's 2. We're gonna put 2 in there, so 20 pounds of chicken. And the bones and everything are gonna go in this food because we're gonna pressure cook it. So the bones are gonna get so soft that you can just smash them with your fingers, and the dogs can eat them no problem. They get all that bone marrow, they get the calcium, and we got this super cheap too on sale, so we bought a bunch of it and stuck it in the deep freeze. 2 bags of that. And then we take like all of our scraps from like when we eat meat, some extra bones. Like this got left out a little too long. Didn't go bad, but just kind of sketchy. So we throw that in the freezer, and then we pile it in with the meat when we make the dog food so it doesn't go to waste. Yes, I didn't do my dishes. Sorry. You know, real life stuff. And then, of course, the most important thing, the pressure cooker. Because that's how we get away with feeding the bones to the dogs, because you don't want your dogs to eat bird bones because they splinter. But if you pressure cook everything, then it pulls all those nutrients out, makes it super soft. And so there's a specific order that I do everything in, that way none of the liquid goes to waste. And then after everything gets cooked down, rice. Just regular old jasmine rice. And I don't actually measure it, I just kind of eyeball it, so you'll see how much I put in it. It is what it is, you know. So yeah, those are all the ingredients I use. Okay. It is time to chop some veggies. You can do the veggies first. And chop them all up, put them in the pressure cooker, a little bit of water. Okay. So now that I've made a mess and all the veggies are in, that's about how full it is. I actually have a couple older potatoes too, just regular Rousseau potatoes that I'm going to throw in. They're just laying around, but it's just kind of extra. So then I'm going to add some water. Let's see, until I can see, just barely see the water. Looks like it ended up being about 3 quarts. And, because the vegetables are going to release water anyway, but you can tell it's filled up to about here with water. And then as they cook down, it'll get nice and soupy. Alright. Take this heavy ass thing. So, I'm going to lock that up. Make sure this is all the way down. Right. And then I'm going to kick this on high. And let that reach pressure. And once it hits 3, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off because they're just vegetables. So they're going to cook fairly quick. So after about an hour, it'll reach pressure by an hour, and then I'll turn it off and let it cool down. And then we'll go to the next step. So now I get to clean up my mess. Okay, veggies are done. This is at 3, full pressure. It's been a little under an hour. So I'm gonna turn this off and let it cool for a minute. And then I'm going to strain out all the veggies and put them in this big container. And if you're a little person like me, you're going to need somebody to help you lift it up and put it down here, because it's the only way I can do it without making a huge mess. But, so yeah. Turn this off. Let it cool down to no pressure. What I usually do is I'll let it get down to 2 and I'll hit the vent. Let it get down to 1 and then I hit the vent again. It's kind of like terrifying. These pressure cookers are scary. I keep thinking they're gonna like blow up, which I know is kind of dumb. Like if you do it the right way, nothing's really gonna happen. But we've been using this one a while. It works great. And now that I've become comfortable with it, I'm not freaking out every time I do it. So you can hear it already starting to cool off. And this one is T-Fall. Let me try to get that. There it is. And you can find these things for right around $100. And they really come in handy. If you're into like this kind of stuff, making your own food, canning, all that good stuff, preserving. We use it for canning, we use it for making the dog food, we use it for sterilization, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna let that cool down. Alright, let me show you what I mean by the venting. So it's gone down to about 2. So this thing I can now kick to 2 and it releases the pressure. If you do that when that pressure's too high though, be careful. But yeah, so it'll cool off faster that way. You just want to be careful to not kick it down too far. So I'll do that, and it gets down to 1, I'll put it down to 1. And then when it starts going all the way down, kick it down to where it's venting completely out, and then by that time I can take the lid off. Alright, we got it down. And we're ready to open. Absolutely no pressure. The little red pressure valve is all the way down. This is all the way back. So we're completely safe. Ooh, that's hot though. that looks good for a human. That's some good looking veggies. Okay, I'm gonna scoop them all out, put them in that tub. Yeah, that's enough. That was nice. Alright, that's pretty good. See how there's a little bit of juice left in all these little pieces. It'll be just fine because we're going to put the chicken directly in this. That way all this little stuff gets put in the food also. And we get every last little crumb for these babies. Ain't that right? He knows what's up. He's like, it's dog food making day. It's very hot in here. Our air's not on yet, so these dogs are not having a fun time. Alright, I'm gonna get out some chicken. I actually forgot I had this in the freezer, which is from my mom. Nice big old ham bone. Didn't mean to drop it like that, but put that in there and then we'll take the bone out when it's done. And they will be soaked. I hope I have this camera at the right angle. No. Oh wait, these are chicken leg quarters. I don't know if I said that. I was just like, that chicken. And all the steps. That's like a whole piece of chicken. Not only. That's like a bacon. Okay. Love it. Like that. No, we're not. And now I have to wait for my husband to come home to put this back on the stove because it's really heavy and I barely got it down. So once I get it back on the stove, I will turn it on high and let it build pressure. It's going to build to 3, and then at 3, when I see the pressure's completely built to 3, I'm going to turn the timer on for an hour and a half. And it's going to cook at 3 for an hour and a half. I usually have to turn it down to about half. Like, it gets to 3 like that, and then I turn it around to medium on my gas stove to keep it at about 3, whatever pressure 3 means. I don't know. And so it'll cook like that for an hour and a half. And then I'm going to turn it off and let it cool overnight. And you don't really have to do that. It's just easier. And then in the morning, I'll take it all out. What are you doing? And mix it with the veggies. Okay. Alright. Finally got it on. Up on the stove. My daughter helped me. Between the two of us, we got it up here. So, it's on. Everything's locked down. It's gonna be on high, and then it's gonna get up to temp and pressure till that's on 3. And then when it's on 3, I'm gonna set a timer for an hour and a half, And when the timer goes off, I'm going to turn it off and then let it sit overnight until the morning. And I've already said all this, but I'm saying it again. Okay. Okay, next day. Been sitting overnight. The hour and a half is enough time for the bones to get soft. I just never start until like middle of the day, and it's just stretches it out so I don't have to rush. I don't have to stay up late to finish. But if you ever do the chicken first, do not leave it out overnight because it will spoil. I've done it before. It's not good. Let's take a look at this. Oh, it smells good too, especially with that ham and bacon in there. Trouble, I'm so jealous. No, sir, you know the rules. Now that's some good looking meat. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. So here's the chicken bone. Literally just comes apart in my hand, and then they get all of this yumminess in there. Cool. Alright, I'm gonna do the same thing, keep the juices, strain it out, put it in with the veggies. Not yet. Alright, there's still some like little pieces in here. And that's fine, because it's all going to end up going into the food eventually, so this stuff can get cooked with the rice, no biggie. Alright, now the last cooking is the rice. Okay, so when it comes to the rice, I literally just eyeball it. I'll show you how much I put in. It's directly in that meat soup. And that way they absorb all the fat. That good stuff. Let's see, that's 3. 4. 5. I think I remember it being about 6 last time. Let's see here. That puts us right around here. We'll do a little bit more. 7. 8. That's about right. Okay, so I guess if we're measuring, was it 2 cups times 8? So 16 cups. And I usually have to add a little bit more water. And that's what it looks like this time too. Because we got rice up to about here. So I want the water, because it's like some water with it, with the water up to about there. So that is rice, water, ready for the lid. Alright, my husband's got to move it back up on the stove for me. But in the meantime, y'all, if you guys are doing this and your dogs are with you, cover it up because they will munch out. Look at them. They're like, maybe she won't notice. Alright, up on the stove. Everything's locked down. The vent's closed. I'm going to turn on high. And what I'm going to do is let this build up to about 1. Cook it for about 45 minutes. And then turn it off because it's just the rice. So the rice has just got to cook and absorb all that liquid. And that will be our last ingredient. And then we get to mix it up with power tools. Alright, it's been about 45-50 minutes. The pressure's gotten up to about 1. If you ever want to know if it's building pressure, like if it just started and you're not sure, the little red dot right here, it's like a little floater and it'll pop up. And if it's sunken down into the lid, then it's not building pressure. Every now and then I have to like poke it, get it sitting just right, but this one's a little older. So yeah, I'm gonna turn it off, let it cool down, and then mix it in. Alright, rice is done. Let's see how it looks. Oh yeah. Alright, see how the rice got all that good stuff, soaked it all up. And I did hear it sizzling a little bit as it was cooling, so I have a feeling it's going to be a little burnt to the bottom. Probably needed a little bit more water, but we'll see. So I'm going to get my husband to dump this into here so I don't have to scoop it all out. Alright, so the rice did burn to the bottom. I do it like 50% of the time, honestly. The dogs really don't mind because they get to, I'll soak it a little bit for them and then they get to clean it out. But I would rather a little bit of burnt rice than soupy food. So maybe if I actually measured it, that wouldn't happen. But you know, it is what it is. Alright, now we're going to mix all this up. So this is what I use to mix it up. This is my husband's drill. And he bought this really cool, super long mixing bit. I mean, you can mix it by hand, but we have the tool, so I'm going to use this. If you mix it by hand, good luck, because it's a lot of work, because that's a lot of food. So, let's get to mixing. There's another handle in there. No, you guys can't get it. Alright, the food is all done. And, oh, look at this stuff. It looks so good. No, Zeba, you better back it up. It is not dinner time. She thought I was giving her a bite. But you can see little chicken bones. Just crush right up chunks of chicken, rice, sweet potatoes, veggies. All that good stuff. Some carrots. And Now it's time to put it in containers so that we can freeze it. Alright, so I use these Walmart containers, and usually fills up about 6, a little bit more than 6. And then I'll throw them in the freezer, in the deep freeze, and pull them out as I need them. They usually last, for my 2 dogs, about 5 or 6 days. If you have like small dogs or 1 dog, you want to use a smaller container, because after 5 or 6 days, at about a week, this stuff starts to sour. So time to package it up. Okay, not quite as much as we normally end up with. Normally it's a little bit over 6. This time it was a little bit under 6. I think I did a little less rice this time. The dogs already know the drill. They're ready to clean up. So it's ready to go in the freezer. And then I'll get them out as they need them and let them thaw overnight. Alright guys, that's it. They're stacked up in the deep freeze. You can see my chicken in there. And this will feed my dogs for about 5 weeks-ish. 5-6 weeks tops. I've done the math before. The protein is higher than the protein in dog food per cup. Couldn't tell you the numbers now because it's been a couple years. It's got all the vitamins and stuff. If you strip the bones and you don't have a pressure cooker, you pull the bones out, you gotta add calcium, but other than that, it's got everything. Okay, I hope this helps you guys.